Senator, this may be one of the scenarios that most uniquely qualifies me to take command at the FBI. Having been the victim of government overreach and a weaponized system of justice and law enforcement, I know what it feels like to have the full weight of the United States government barreling down on you. And as the Biden Inspector General determined, those activities by the FBI and DOJ were wholly improper and not predicated upon law and facts. I will ensure, if confirmed, that no American is subjected to that kind of torment, to that kind of cost, financially and personally. And most importantly, I will make sure that no American is subjected to death threats like I was, and subjected to moving their residences like I was, because of government overreach, because of leaks of information about my personal status. If confirmed as FBI director, Mr. Chairman, you have my commitment that no one in this country will feel that pain.
Wow, why is he on such a rant here? He's going to weaponize the government. Is this just all about payback? Oh my God. Did you hear what he just said he went through? Yeah, it's not about payback. It's about justice, making sure anyone that was involved in that kind of activity with anyone no longer works for the United States government. And if they broke any laws, they go to jail. I don't know about you. I kind of like the idea of jail for some people. You know what I mean? Not everybody, but the guilty, no matter if they're the poorest person in the world or it's George Soros. I don't really care. You break the law, you go to jail. But he's on your side. I don't care. Go to jail. That's what he's trying to restore. Now, let's go to cut 2. He was called out on the January 6 pardons by Senator Durbin. Here it is.
Was President Donald Trump wrong to give blanket clemency to the January 6 defendants?
Thank you, Ranking Member. A couple of things on that. One, the power of the presidential pardon is just that, the president.
Well, I concede he has the authority. I'm asking, was he wrong to do it?
And as we discussed in our private meeting, Senator, I have always rejected any violence against law enforcement, and I have, including in that group, is specifically addressed any violence against law enforcement on January 6th. And I do not agree with the commutation of any sentence of any individual who committed violence against law enforcement.
So do you think that America is safer because these 1,600 people have been given an opportunity to come out of serving their sentences and live in our communities again?
Senator, I have not looked at all 1,600 individual cases. I have always advocated for imprisoning those that cause harm to our law enforcement and civilian communities. I also believe America is not safer because President Biden's commutation of a man who murdered 2 FBI agents, Agent Kohler's and Williams' family, deserve better than to have the man that point blank range fired a shotgun into their heads and murdered them released from prison. So it goes both ways.
Okay. All right, I think you're pretty clear.
I like that answer.
I love that answer.
So what do you take, because part of the push, the trying to stir things up on the left, saying that, I mean, he took a different position than Trump on that.
Oh my gosh. You mean people are different? They're not zombies?
That's true, though not common.
Presidential pardons are just that. His pardons. Mm-hmm. I'm not for releasing people who have ever, harmed cops. I'm not for that. I don't think the president is for that.
Well, he did commute sentences of people who were the violent offenders in there. He did everybody.
I'd like to look at each individual case.
But but he did all of them. Right. So we don't have to look at each individual case.
Well, here's my feeling on this. Mm-hmm. I've already expressed this over and over again. You cannot say that the system was corrupt for some and then just allow that corrupt system to sentence and put people away that might have been guilty. You can't do that. We never do that. If there is a corrupt prosecution and a corrupt judge or whatever, and it's found out, it's not only that person that is pardoned and you throw the case out and you can't try it again. Sorry. It was corrupt. And then you're supposed to go on and see, when did this happen? Did this team do anything else? And if you start looking and you see that this is a pattern, you have to throw it all out.
Okay.
It's not the president's fault. It is the prosecution's fault. It is the DOJ's fault.
I think that's a very defensible point. It's also, I would argue, probably, I mean, he hasn't explicitly said this, but Donald Trump's point, right? Why he did all 1,600. Right. That is not Kash Patel's point. Kash Patel is saying, I don't agree with any of those commutations. So those are two different positions.
He didn't say that. He said, I don't agree with
any commutation of anyone.
But that's a blanket statement. I don't really care anyway.
I'm just curious because I think they're two slightly different points. I would say they're kind of representative of our 2 points here.
Yes.
My point is more consistent with Kash Patel, I think, on this, and yours is maybe more consistent with Trump. I don't think it's a big deal that they disagree, as you point out. It's interesting what the left was trying to do with that, though.
What are they trying to do?
They're trying to get that little wedge of separation, right? They're trying to say, hey, Don, this guy doesn't agree with you.
Right.
They're trying to, and look. But he doesn't need. He does because it's funny because they want to separate them and say, hey, they don't agree. At the same point of time of trying to make the point that the only reason he has this job is he's a loyalist that is an automatron robot.
Yeah.
Which is like you don't get both of those things. You can't
they'll try.
They'll try.
They always
can't have
do.
both of them.
Touchdown, either direction.
Right.
Which I think you would be for with the Eagles. So please don't get on your high horse.
Fair point.
Okay, so the thing that drives me nuts is, and this is the point I couldn't get past with any of them. Excuse me, Durbin. Hang on just a second. Wait. You're worried about the safety of the American people because people who, in your words, not mine, rioted and tried to burn the republic down, you're worried about them, but all of the riots from BLM, burning Minneapolis almost to the ground, you didn't have a problem with that one? I can't take it. I can't take it. And I don't think the American people, they don't get, the Durbins of the world and the Democrats don't understand what just happened. America changed on Election Day. This isn't just you know what, we're gonna switch and go with another party. That's not what happened. People didn't vote for the Republicans. They voted for Donald Trump's agenda. They voted for massive change. And they're playing the same game. And I'm sorry, but it's not going to work, dude. It's just not going to work. And it'll come and bite them in the ass like nobody's... Because, look, whenever you try to con people, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. All of their illegalities, everything that they tried to do, is any of that really hidden anymore? Do you really think that Donald Trump's going to let these secrets lay secret? Let's go to cut 3.
Trump recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we went to a studio and recorded it, mastered it, digitized it, and put it out as a song now releasing exclusively on the War Room. We. If you had nothing to do with it, Mr. Patel, why did you tell Steve Bannon and all his listeners that you did?
That's why it says we, as you highlighted.
Yeah, and you're part of the we, right? When you say we, that includes you, doesn't it, Mr. Patel?
Not in every instance.
Well, that's new. So when you said we...
Stop. Is it? Maybe I identify as we. Really? You mean these words have meaning? Good God almighty. This is Adam Schiff talking to Kash Patel about January 6th like he has any credibility at all.
None. Zero. It's the royal we, is it not, Glenn?
It is
the royal
Well,
we.
it's whatever Kash Patel decides it is,
That's
quite honestly.
Right.
Continue.
You're not allowed to ask.
Yeah.
That's new.
Is it?
So when you said we, you didn't really mean you. Is that your testimony?
Not unless you have a new definition for the word we.
Oh, okay. I always thought we included the person who pronounced the
Stop!
word.
I always thought they referred to a group, but it doesn't.
So true.
It
I can't even
means-
read news stories anymore.
I know.
They say they, and I'm like, who are they talking about?
Right.
And they're talking
Who's-
about one person who says
Right.
they're a they.
Right.
Like that is not. That's just.
I wish Cash would have. I mean, he's too cool to do this. He's too smart to do this. But I would have unleashed on Schiff. Really? Because I thought. I'm sorry. They told me. Who is they? Well, that's how I referred to myself, and I was talking to myself. You have a problem with them, they, sir?
So
you have
true.
a problem with we? I call myself we? What's the problem with that? Now, it's not a logical answer, but it certainly is worth shoving right down his throat.
We come up with words as a society to describe things.
Yes.
Right?
You've done everything you can to destroy the meaning of almost every word.
That's what's so. We always talk about, oh, well, it's not scientific or it's not, reality. All that's true, but you're destroying the way we communicate with each other.
When you say we, what do you mean by we?
I mean they.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, they,
all
them.
right, good.
But it's true. You destroy that and you have nothing. You have nothing. How can you listen to a show? You can't listen to a show because you can't understand what people are saying. When you go to a court of law, this is what they try to do in court cases all the time. Well, that word doesn't really mean that. That's not what the founders meant there. This is what they always do. They're manipulating language. You've said this 100 times. Control the language, control the argument.
Yep.
And if you do control that language, you do control the argument.
And you win.
We're starting to stop that finally.
Yes. So, sorry, Adam Schiff. We don't like it. Me don't like it either.